Tall poppy syndrome in Australia. Have you ever tried to stand out, work hard, and achieve something you're proud of, only to feel like people suddenly step back, whisper, or even subtly pull you down? Welcome to the world of tall poppy syndrome, something that quietly blooms across workplaces, schools, and social circles, especially here in Australia. In today's video, we're going to talk about what tall poppy syndrome really means, why it happens, how it affects people's confidence, and most importantly, how we can deal with it while still staying humble and kind. So, stay with me till the end, drop a comment if you've ever felt this in your life, and don't forget to subscribe for more real-life Australian stories like this. What is tall poppy syndrome? Let's start simple. Imagine a field full of poppies, all roughly the same height, dancing in the wind. Now one poppy grows taller than the rest. What happens? In some cultures people might admire it, but in Australia the tall one might get trimmed. Tall poppy syndrome basically means criticizing or resenting people who achieve success, stand out, or get recognition. It's a cultural attitude that says, don't think you're better than the rest of us. It's not always obvious. It can be wrapped in humor, like a sarcastic comment, or even a friendly, wow, someone's showing off today. But the meaning behind it? To pull someone back down to the same level as everyone else. Where does it come from? This idea has deep roots in Australian and New Zealand culture. Historically, Australians have valued egalitarianism, the belief that everyone should be equal no matter their background or wealth. It's a beautiful value, but sometimes, that same equality spirit can turn into jealousy or discomfort when someone achieves something big. You can think of it as an overcorrection. Equality equals good. Cutting others down equals not so good. Back in the early colonial days, society frowned upon bragging. People respected hard work but not self-promotion. So, over time, Australians developed this cultural reflex. Stay humble, mate. Don't get too big for your boots. Modern tall poppy syndrome, it's still around. Fast forward to today, 2025, and you'll still see it everywhere. A student wins a scholarship. Someone might whisper, yeah, they probably had connections. A coworker gets promoted? Must be the boss's favorite. A small business owner shares their success online? Oh look, another influencer. Sometimes tall poppy syndrome doesn't even come from others, it grows inside us. We start downplaying our own wins just to seem more relatable. We say things like, oh, I just got lucky, instead of, I worked really hard for this. And here's the funny part. Most Australians don't even realize they're doing it. It's so deeply woven into the culture that it feels normal to joke about success. The psychology behind it. Why do people do it? Because when someone else shines, it can make others feel small or insecure. Instead of being inspired, they react defensively. There's a saying, when someone's candle burns brighter, yours doesn't burn dimmer. But not everyone believes that. Some feel more comfortable when everyone's light burns at the same height. In psychology, it's linked to social comparison theory, the idea that people evaluate their worth based on how they measure up to others. And while tall poppy syndrome might look like jealousy, it's often more about fear of being left behind, or fear that success means arrogance. How it shows up in everyday life. Let's look at real examples. In workplaces, you might notice people making backhanded compliments like, oh, you finished early? Must be nice to have no life outside work. Or you propose a new idea and someone replies, look at you trying to be the boss already. In schools or universities, high-achieving students often downplay their grades because they don't want to seem too smart. Even on social media, people hesitate to share their milestones, like buying their first home, finishing a degree, or starting a business, because they worry it'll be seen as showing off. In friendships, a true friend cheers you on. But sometimes friends go quiet when you succeed. You can sense that awkward silence, the one that says, you've changed. Tall poppy syndrome isn't always bad. Here's an interesting twist, it's not entirely negative. The original idea came from wanting to keep people humble and grounded, which can be healthy. Australians value modesty, no one likes arrogance. The real issue begins when modesty turns into resentment or sabotage. If we remind each other to stay grounded, great. If we cut others down for simply doing well, that's when the flowers stop blooming. So the challenge is finding balance, celebrating success without arrogance and staying humble without fear of growth. How to deal with tall poppy syndrome. If you've ever been the tall poppy yourself, you know it's not easy. Here are some ways to handle it mentally and practically. 1. Don't dim your light. You worked hard for your achievements. You don't need to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. 2. Stay gracious, not defensive. When people tease or criticize, respond with humility, not anger. It confuses negativity and shows strength. 3. Celebrate others too. Break the cycle. If someone else does well, clap louder. The best way to defeat tall poppy syndrome is to lead by example. 4. Surround yourself with supportive people. Hang out with those who lift you higher, not those who chop your stem every time you grow. 5. Talk about it. Bringing awareness helps. Many Australians now recognize tall poppy syndrome as a national issue. By discussing it openly, we change the culture. Funny yet real observations. Let's be honest, Australians have a unique sense of humor. They'll roast you, tease you, and call it just banter. So sometimes it's hard to tell if it's playful or cutting. Like when you buy a new car and someone says, "Oh, someone's winning the lottery, huh?" Or you post a graduation photo and someone comments, "Don't forget us little people." It's funny, but the message underneath can sting a bit. Still, laughter is part of the culture here. It's how people connect. So the best approach is, laugh with it, not against it. As long as it's not mean-spirited, humor can actually defuse tall poppy syndrome instead of feeding it. A quick comparison. Other countries have their versions too. In the US, success is often celebrated openly. People say, "Go big or go home." In Japan, there's a proverb, "The nail that sticks out gets hammered down." So, in a way, tall poppy syndrome connects all cultures, it just shows up differently. But the Australian version? It's mixed with dry humor, honesty, and that "mate, keep your boots on the ground" attitude. How tall poppy syndrome affects migrants. If you're a newcomer to Australia, you might notice this cultural difference quickly. You may feel confused. Why does success sometimes make people uncomfortable? For migrants who come from cultures where achievements are celebrated loudly, like South Asia, it can feel strange to suddenly downplay everything. You might even feel guilty for being proud of your progress. But remember, Australians value quiet confidence. So don't shout. Be proud, but stay humble. And if someone trims your poppy, don't take it personally. It's part of the social dance here. What we can learn from it, instead of seeing tall poppy syndrome as a negative thing, let's flip it. It teaches us to stay humble, appreciate equality, recognize the fine line between pride and arrogance. But it also reminds us that supporting each other is essential. When one flower grows tall, it gives shade, beauty, and hope to the rest. We don't have to cut it, we can let the whole field grow taller together. Final thoughts. Tall poppy syndrome isn't about bad people, it's about cultural habits. And like any habit, we can change it with awareness and kindness. Let's celebrate people who rise up, whether they're artists, students, migrants, or everyday heroes. And next time you see someone succeeding, don't reach for the scissors. Reach for the applause. Because in the end, lifting each other is what makes our garden truly beautiful. So, have you ever experienced tall poppy syndrome? Maybe at work, in school, or even online? Drop your story in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this video helpful or eye-opening, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories about life and culture in Australia. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep blooming tall no matter who's holding the scissors.